Guys, how's it going? Nick is here as always, and today I want to just have a general chat while we're here on the rooftop overlooking the CN Tower in the background there in Toronto. And I just want to talk about the big picture, the general process of when you're starting your first product, or maybe even second or third, just kind of like what to expect, because now I've been getting a couple of questions on this topic, and I actually remember my own experience with this when I was thinking, man, there's so much going on, and it's like, what comes first, what comes second? Should I be doing something now, or is there something that I'm not doing while I'm, let's say, looking for freight forwarders or looking for manufacturers on Alibaba? So I'm gonna list. I made a list of about 8 steps. So let's just go through it. So step number 1: when you're brand new, let's say today you're starting and you're just like, oh, so overwhelming. What do I do? The first step is you got to do your product research. That costs almost no money unless you're gonna buy a paid tool like Jungle Scout. But other than that, it really doesn't cost a lot, or anything for that matter. So what you're going to do is you're going to start searching niches. You're going to start researching products. You're going to analyze their reviews, the photos, the listing quality, and all that fun jazz. And I'll make a link somewhere here for how I do my product research. But that really is the number 1 step. You want to try and see if you can find a niche before you delve into anything else. And then second step, once you found your product or a niche that you want to delve into, you want to find a supplier who manufactures this. Once again, almost, or for that matter, no money input whatsoever, just your time. Right now we're just talking about time. You're going to either go to Alibaba, or you're going to Google manufacturer indexes or libraries of North America or South America or United States. And you basically, once you have your product, you're going to try and find a variation of that product, or you're going to try and find that identical product, but maybe you will package it differently. But that is the second step. So first we do the product research, we find the product. Second step, kind of big picture, we find the manufacturer. And then once you've tested your manufacturers, you've gotten some samples back and forth, and you've picked one. Once you put down the deposit on manufacturing whatever product you chose, usually it's about 30 to 40% manufacturers will ask for before they get started producing it. Up until then, you don't do anything really with Amazon. Once you've put in that 30%, that is when I think is the appropriate time to get on Amazon, get a professional account, and set up a listing. And you're going to set up a basic listing. And I literally just yesterday released a 5-part video series on how to set up your listing, so I'll link to that as well. But that's when, like, once that order has been placed, that's when you start the listing and all the Amazon prep. And here's why. The manufacturing, I'm assuming you're going to order, at the very least a couple of hundred, probably 500 to 600. That's seems to be the medium point for a lot of new sellers, kind of to properly test out the product. It's going to take about 3 to 4 weeks, and then the freight forwarding, depending whether you choose air or sea freight forwarding, is going to take another 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes even a month. So we're talking between 1.5 to 2 months from the moment that you pay. So you have all this time now. So why not spend before the original payment, before the 30% payment? Why not spend all that time just trying to get to that point? Because as soon as you get there, now you have that product being made. Now you can start and do the listing, find a freight forwarder, do all your research, plan out the route, how it's going to get there, complete your shipment plan on Amazon once you create your listing. And once again, it's all part of the 5-part series in terms of the listing. So that's when you're going to go. Just a quick summary for you. You're going to create a basic listing, then you're going to create a shipment plan, then you're going to research keywords in your niche, or you should have already some from the original research of the product that you've had. You're going, based on those keywords, you're going to create a title, 4 or 5 to 6 bullet points, and then description. And then photos will come after you've gotten your samples. So once you've received samples and you've yes, this is the factory I'm going to go with, you have these samples to take photos of, and I have another video for that. After you've set up your listing, you've created your shipment plan, you're going to look for a freight forwarder. and honestly, the listing should not be taking that long, no longer than a week. If you're spending more than the week on your listing, you're spending too much time, because that listing is going to get edited back and forth a bunch of times. So for freight forwarders, basically, how do you get all your stuff from point A to point B? Meaning, for example, from Shanghai, China to, let's say, the LA port to the Amazon warehouse. I forgot the city, called San Bernardo or something like that. And that is the freight forwarding. So there's a couple of services. I haven't made a video about that yet. I will be. But one I've mentioned in the past a lot I've used is Shipment. They took care of the whole process, but they were overpriced, so they do charge a premium. This second time around that I'm ordering more of my first product, and I'm reordering my second, testing my second, is I'm actually getting my manufacturer, and this is worth asking your supplier, do they do shipping to major port cities? Because my manufacturer gave me an awesome price for the amount that I was shipping to get it to a LA port. Now you just got to figure out how to get it through customs, and then how to truck it over to the warehouse. So once it comes into the warehouse, the number one thing that you got to start doing right away is the reviews. Two things I would actually say. It's in the warehouse. Get like 3 to 5 reviews immediately. Friends, family, I don't care. Just go ask them, like, hey, here's like a piece of my product if you have it. If you don't, just tell them to leave a review anyway. I'll hook you up later. Just 3 to 5 reviews, and then turn on auto PPC campaign. PPC is pay-per-click, for all of you guys who don't know. It's under the advertising tab. And just Google how to start a automatic pay-per-click campaign, Amazon FBA. It's really easy. And once you start that, basically it doesn't require any effort from you. It's basically Amazon looking at your listing, looking at your keywords, and it auto assigns keywords and phrases to the pay-per-click campaign based on what it thinks you mean by your product. And this is good for 2 things. Number one is you get to see how Amazon interprets your listing. Because if it comes up with a bunch of random or bad keywords that you didn't really want in your listing, then you have to go back to your listing and assess the backend keywords, the title, the bullet points, everything. Assess why did Amazon assign that specific keyword to you? Why, when customers search this, you came up? There must be something in the back end that Amazon kind of read. And second of all, it'll give you more ideas for what your later pay-per-click campaigns will look like. So 3 reviews right away, and then as soon as you have those like 3 to 5 reviews, turn on the pay-per-click. That's it. At this point, you can start giving away items or giving them away for discount in exchange for reviews. I know that in recent past, for the last month, and now it's July 2016. For the past month, I've been reading that Amazon's really cracking down on these kind of exchanges. So, proceed with caution or at your own risk. Kind of disclaimer here, because I don't know what the future is going to hold. You could watch this video in a year from now. But you can still have your product bought at a discount, and then just have a person give their honest review. As long as you encourage people to give their honest, good review that they think is fair. If it's 3 stars, it's 3 stars, and you have to accept that. So make sure from the get-go your product's awesome, so that way it's a 5-star product. And then another thing that you could do is you could use services such as SalesBacker, or I believe it's called Feedback Genius, one of those 2. I personally use SalesBacker, where it's basically an automated chain of emails that every time you get a purchase on somebody purchases your product, they get a chain of 4 different emails or 3 different emails. It's up to you, basically prompting them to review, give you some seller feedback, and then also give you product review. And I found that worked out really great for me. In the last month and a half, 2 months or so, I've received almost 110 reviews just organically. The first 10 were giveaways, but then the next 110 were very organic. And then basically after that is just measure and tweak. Now I could talk about this forever, but at this point, like, it's worth researching and Googling how to measure, how to tweak, like how is your PPC performing, maybe change up the title a little bit, maybe change up the photos, get better quality photos, because the ones that I've described before is, it's just a couple of Bristol boards and you take it on your phone and you just do some minor editing in Photoshop. But now maybe you want to use a professional service for $20-30 a photo and throw up those ones, right? And then after that is basically rinse and repeat. The one caveat that I'll say that I wouldn't say screwed up, but if I was to go back, here's one thing that I would do differently is once you start getting sales going and you're building like 5 to 10 sales a day and it's going good, calculate ahead of time if you were to remain at that plateau, at what point would you have 2 months left of inventory. So let's say you're selling 10 items per day. That's 600 items in 2 months you'll run out. So at the point where you get 600, or let's say you sell 5 a day, so 300 in the next 2 months, reorder right away. Because that's what I did. I ran out of inventory before even getting to I think I had about 3 weeks left of my inventory, and only then I started reordering, and I sold out. So now all I'm doing is just waiting for my supplier to get it back to me, right? So make sure that you give it like a month, at least a month. I would say 2 months to be safe, but at least a month lead time. The purpose of the first launch is to prove to yourself that this product can sell. And if you're seeing sales happen on Amazon and they're slowly increasing, let's say 2, 4, 5, 6, they're hovering around there. Maybe you change some stuff up, you changed up your PPC 7, 8, 9, you gotta reorder. Reorder, get more stock in, because at the very basic level, it's selling. Now imagine once you tweak stuff around, might bump up to 15, 20, once you bundle, 30, 40, I don't know. So make sure that you reorder that. And that is pretty much like the big, the grand scheme of things. There's another video I'm going to make talking about just like the general philosophy of sales, but that's for another day. So I hope this helped. Leave any comments or questions below, and thanks for the love, guys. I appreciate it.